into before we go anywhere else. And my name is Mary Brell, and I'm, along with Judy Ford, the Membership Officer for District 9705. So we've been in our brand new district just this year. So Judy and I have been working together on that. So Judy and I will be running the program this evening. I belong to the Rotary Club of Orange Daybreak, and Judy will introduce herself when she comes on board. But we have a wonderful speaker tonight, Barbara Mifsud. Now, Barbara is the Regional Membership Officer for Rotary International, and of course she's in our very own Australia. So Barbara knows all there is to know about membership. I can see the look on her face now. You do, Barbara, I know you do. But anyway, before Barbara takes on the video screen, there's just a few things that I'd like to mention to you. Number one, if you happen to be out of District 9705, if you're not one of 9705, could you just put a comment in the chat? We're just trying to do a little bit of a statistical analysis of who's 9705, who is not, and just see how far and wide people are coming from. In the last few series, we've had people from Kenya, from New Zealand, from all over Australia. So it's been pretty exciting, really, because we've had some wonderful speakers, and we continue to have wonderful speakers. If you have a comment or a question that you'd also like to make, would you also put that in the chat as well? And we will just keep monitoring the chat, and we'll see what questions you're asking, and then we'll be able to ask them of Barbara. So the way this evening will work, I'm going to open up to Barbara in one moment, but after Barbara has finished speaking, Judy Ford will then be taking over, and she'll be asking more questions of Barbara, but we're going to throw open the questions to you people. Not just questions, but comments and ideas from everybody who is on the Zoom, because we know the best way to learn new ideas is to share our ideas and our thinking with everyone else. And in the other series that we've had, we've been getting some great ideas. So people are taking away those ideas that they can use in their clubs. So that's the point of this evening. So Barbara will be doing that, giving lots of ideas, but then Judy will be opening up to all of you. So at this point in time, I'd love to introduce to you Barbara Mifsud. I've been working with Barbara for a couple of years now, and she knows an enormous amount of stuff about Rotary. So Barbara, without me talking anymore, I'm going to hand over to you. Thanks, Barbara. Oh, before you do, could we ask everybody to take yourself off video, because it will just distract people. Take yourself off video, and I know you are all unmuted. So if everybody could go off video, and we'll just have Barbara on the screen. Thanks, everyone. Over to you, Barbara.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mary. It's really great to be here tonight with everybody. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm just going to share my screen, so just bear with me. And can everybody see my screen if you can?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Great. Perfect. So yes, thanks very much. My name is Barbara, and I work as the Regional Membership Officer at the Rotary International South Pacific and Philippines office in Parramatta. So that means that I am a staff contact for clubs and districts in Zone 8. So that's Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific Islands. And so I help out with membership matters. I'm also part of a global membership development team at Rotary International, and we have about 20 staff that work on things like research, resource development, reports and data, and we also have staff that are assisting clubs and districts directly, and that's part of my role as well. So tonight I was just going to talk about membership from a global perspective, and I really wanted to share with you three things in particular. First thing is to look at some of the membership trends, and that's looking at it globally, but also, trickling down into our region. And that's just really to give us an idea of like some of our current strengths and some of the challenges that we do face as well. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is also research. So Rotary International has been doing some research about what our current members and our potential members want. And so then taking into account, you know, the trends and also the research, we'll look at what are some of the ways that you can consider to strengthen membership in your club and also to grow Rotary as well. But before we do that, I just thought we'd do a quick quiz, just to get you thinking a little bit about membership. So the quiz is just going to be really quick. It'll be 4 questions of multiple choice. So Paul, would you be able to start the quiz or the poll? Okay, so you should have the 4 questions up on the screen. So the first one is, how many members did Rotary International have as at July the 1st, 2020? Second one is, how many members did Zone 8, so that's Australia, New Zealand, Pacific Islands, how many members did we have at July 1st as well? And if you can guess how many is actually just in Australia itself, that'll just be, you know, bonus points for you. Okay, I can see, yeah, what's the number 1 reason for people joining? Oh, we've got, yeah, what's the number 1 reason for people to join Rotary? And the 4th question is, what is the number 1 reason people leave Rotary? So just give it a bit of a stab. We'll just give you a couple of more minutes. Well, we've got 71%, 73% has voted. Last chance, last chance for those who'd like to vote. Okay, I think we've got some lucky lasts coming through. Okay. I think we'll just end the poll now. So I'm ending the poll. And let's just share the results. Okay, so how many members did Rotary International have as at the 1st of July? 50% said 1.174 million. So if that was you, then yes, that's correct. We were at 1.174 million. And we'll talk a bit more about some of the, you know, the stats, but we are, you know, on a global level, our membership's been stagnant for the last 20 or so years. And how many members did Zone 8 have? 32,000, 39% said. Oh, it was sort of a tie between 30,000 and 32,000. It's 32,472. So for those of you who'd guessed that's great. And also for the bonus points, if it was just Australia by itself, we have 25,295 members. So what's the number 1 reason people join Rotary? Well, this is an interesting one. We had 53% said friendship or fellowship, followed by local service, and then personal and professional development. Interestingly, in our latest research, the main reason people join and stay in Rotary is for local service. Friendship and fellowship is still important and connecting with others, but that's something that really Rotarians come to value the longer that they stay in Rotary. But again, we'll talk a little bit about that as we go through the presentation. And what is the number 1 reason people leave Rotary? 58% said club culture and time constraints. And yes, that's true. Club culture is the #1 reason why people are leaving, but also time constraints as well as cost are considerations as well. Okay, well, thank you so much for taking part in that poll. That's really really great. So I'll just firstly talk about some of the membership trends. And I guess I did want to talk about the membership trends because, it's important for us to look at in order for us to, inform any membership strategy that we have, even at a club level. So these are the latest statistics that we have for Rotary and for ROTARACT. And I'm going to include ROTARACT statistics at this point because, as you might know, we are in the process of what we're calling Elevate ROTARACT. And so at the 2019 Council on Legislation, we amended constitutional documents of Rotary International to include ROTARACT clubs as a unique membership type of Rotary International. So it's really about bringing the ROTARACT voice to the table, and it really positions Rotary for a future where we're innovative, we're inclusive, and we're also adapting to the changing world around us. So as of the 1st of July, Rotary Club membership was at that 1.174 million. ROTARACT club membership stood at nearly 203,000 reported members. So our Rotary Club membership has declined by over 14,000 in the last year, but our ROTARACT membership seems to have increased by more than 13,000. But the actual amount of new members is really hard to tell in terms of ROTARACT. So with Elevate ROTARACT, we're really encouraging ROTARACT clubs to report their members. So we're unsure if these are new members as such, or if they're just members that haven't been previously reported. So at the moment, it's not mandatory to report ROTARACT members, but it will be, moving forward when ROTARACT does, ROTARACT will pay dues in the future. The number of clubs has grown in both Rotary and ROTARACT. And the rate of new club development varies greatly around the world. So as we're going to see a bit later on, there are regions that are experiencing the greatest membership decline. We can see that there's regions that are experiencing the greatest membership declines. They are also the ones that are losing the most clubs and not replacing them with new style clubs as well. Interestingly, we can see here that ROTARACT has achieved gender parity, with women representing 50% of their membership, and women make up 24% of Rotary members currently. Last year, the Rotary International Board adopted a formal diversity, equity and inclusion policy statement, and they set a goal for the organisation to achieve at least 30% of women members and 30% of women in leadership positions, and that's by 2023. So we have seen a bit of an increase in female members since 1st of July 2019. And we also have seen an increase in female club presidents as well. But we do have a bit of work to do to reach our goal for 2023. Though it is really wonderful news, and I was so happy to hear when we are going to have our first female president, Jennifer Jones, in 2023, and that will be the first in our 100+ year history. So it's pretty groundbreaking. So let's just have a look at our zone here. So, while the worldwide growth has stagnated, over the last 5 years, membership within our region has been declining, and it's been declining by about 10%. We have had a net loss of 1,600 members this past Rotary year, and that really is to be expected because we have had the Corona and the pandemic. So there has been an impact on our membership. Even though we do charter new clubs, we lose more than we charter. So we chartered 9 new Rotary clubs last year, but we actually terminated 27. So that means we've got net loss of 18. Great thing about our zone is we do have a higher participation rate of women than worldwide. but we also have less younger people than the worldwide average as well. So roughly 3% of Rotarians are aged under 40, whereas compared to worldwide, it's around 6.79%. And again, we've also had an increase in reported ROTARACT members as well, though we have had a net loss of 2 clubs. So this is really, the 5th consecutive year worldwide that we've had a membership decline. And so this past year, it was a 1.2% decrease. And again, we did fully anticipate that we were going to have this 1 to 2% loss during this year, particularly due to the pandemic. But if you're looking at the membership stats, throughout, history, this has really been the lowest that we've had since July 2001, when we were up at 1.170 million. Just also out of interest, this is the membership trends across the 6 broadest regions of the Rotary world over the last 10 years. So you can see here, so the US, Canada and the Caribbean as, one area. Our regions, so Australia, New Zealand, Pacific Islands, and also Great Britain and Ireland, we continue to trend downward. While Asia is tending to, to trend upward, and they're the ones that are reporting the strongest and the sustained growth, that, in the Rotary world. So while you're looking at Europe, Africa and the Middle East as a region, it appears quite constant, but there are parts of Africa and Eastern and Western Europe that are also trending upwards. So the top 3 membership growth countries really are India, Nigeria and also the Philippines. But what you'll also notice is that the regional makeup of our Rotary membership is changing. So essentially Asia is trading places with the US and Canada and the Caribbean as the region with the most members. Our region now also has a little less of the world pie, moving from about 3% down to about, from about 4% down to 3%. Just take a bit of a step backwards and we'll have a look at our global admissions and our terminations. So that's our membership gains and losses. So last year we welcomed about 145,000 new members into our clubs. But unfortunately, about 18,000 of those new members were terminated within their first year of membership. And in addition, more than 142,000 existing Rotarians also left Rotary last year as well. The figures pretty much are consistent in any given year, where we normally welcome around 140 to 150,000 new members into our clubs. We also see a number of existing members that leave us. What's really concerning, I guess, is that about half of those who leave were members for less than 2 years. So just making a comparison to our zone, we do see a very similar situation where we welcomed about 3,300 new members, and we also welcomed back 300 transferring or returning members. But we also said goodbye to around 4,800 members. And out of those 3,000 or so new members who joined us, nearly 400 people left within the first year of their membership. And the other statistics that we really need to take notice of is that when we look closer at our zone, we see that members that leave within the first 3 years, that percentage rises to about 60%. So I guess that's something that we just, sort of need to take into account as, a challenge that we have, and also an opportunity that we need to address as well. And just lastly, I know there's quite a lot of figures there, but I promise this is the last one. Another piece of the puzzle, I guess, in terms of membership is new club development. So we know that really membership growth happens at the intersection of 3 main things. So we've got when we retain our existing members, when we welcome more members into our existing clubs, so that's, you know, our attraction, and then also when we charter new clubs as well. So what we do know from looking at the statistics is that the regions that are reporting the largest net change in clubs over the last 5 years are also the regions that are reporting the strongest membership growth. Conversely, the regions that are reporting the greatest net loss in clubs, as you can see, you know, on the right-hand side in red there of the table, they're also the regions that are experiencing the most significant membership losses. So you remember, you know, India, Central and Southeast Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa, so Nigeria, they were the leaders in membership growth, but they're also leaders in new club development. On the other hand, the US, Great Britain and Ireland and our region as well, we reported the greatest membership losses, but we also had the greatest net loss in clubs as well. So yeah, so that's just a little bit of the trends, just so that you get an idea of, you know, what's happening around the world. So I guess, you know, in order to get a better understanding of why these membership trends are happening, so, you know, why is it that our membership is declining or is it stagnating? And why are so many new members leaving in the first couple of years? We need to look at some of the research that we are doing about the experiences our members are having. So every year, our research team sends out what we call the Member and Participant Experience Survey. So we send this survey out to a random sample of, includes prospective Rotary and ROTARACT members, current members, former members, as well as people who have participated in a program or a scholarship. So I don't know if any of you had actually received the survey or participated in it, but we actually received around 12,000 responses to that survey. That's worldwide. The samples that we use, though, are roughly representative of the geographic makeup of our membership. So really, I guess I wanted to point out is that, you know, our research, it's not just US centric. It's global research. We send out this survey so that we can learn more about who our members are and who our program participants are. What are their preferences? What are their expectations? It's really an important tool in making sure that we deliver value to our members. So we ask the participants of the survey a whole load of different questions, and we're gaining insight into, you know, things like how they were introduced into Rotary, and what's their level of involvement in terms of service and club activities. What are the engagement drivers and the value of membership? Looking at things like the club environment and flexibility and diversity. And also to, you know, what are the reasons for joining and for staying and also for leaving Rotary? So I'll just highlight a couple of, you know, interesting things that have come out of our research. We have learned that the, we have learned that the top 3 reasons why people join Rotary is 1, local service, and then 2, global service. And that's particularly important for younger professionals, because younger professionals have said that they also want to make an impact globally. And I think, you know, this is really great because Rotary is in a unique position to be offering that. And thirdly, people would like personal growth and learning. So what are the top 3 reasons why people stay in Rotary? So that's asking, you know, our current members, you know, what are they getting out of Rotary? Firstly, it's local service. And then it's connecting with others. So that's connecting with people outside of the people's normal social and their business circles. And then thirdly, it's friendship and fellowship. So, you know, that the fun element. So I think what's interesting here is that local service is that top reason for both joining and for staying. And, you know, while friendship and fellowship is very important, I think it is something that Rotarians begin to value more as the longer that they stay in Rotary. So Rotarians and Rotaractors, they place slightly different levels of importance on the reasons for joining and staying. But I think, you know, there is some consistency in what drives people to get involved and stay involved. Really comes down to, you know, those three reasons, which is the local service, connecting with others in some kind of way, whether it's fellowship or whether it's, you know, connecting outside of the local, your normal social circles. And also the professional and leadership development opportunities that they're looking for. So to grow our membership, we really, you know, have to do a better job of delivering on the elements that are motivating people. And this also varies region by region as well as by age. And this is what I think is one of the benefits of doing this global survey is that, you know, we begin to see that there are regional differences. So in Asia, for example, the survey revealed that reputation or traditions and established customs, that's what matters to members. So in our region, members want to feel like they're contributing and they're making a difference. They also have specifically said that they want meetings and programs that match their interests, and they're looking for innovation and flexibility as well. It's a bit different in Africa and Europe and the Middle East, as you can see there. And then also, you know, Canada and the US, again, slightly different. You know, people are looking more for that sort of personal and professional growth. So I think we do really need to keep these regional differences in mind, and you know, there isn't that cookie cutter approach to membership that we can simply transfer across. We can't simply say, you know, what are they doing in India? You know, India is experiencing the greatest membership growth. Let's do the same. It just may not be appropriate for our regional audience. So I think that's also, you know, something that we need to keep in mind. Sure, we can look at what are some of the best practices and try to apply those things, but, you know, also take into account that we do have our own regional difference. So what motivates people to join a club in their early 20s can be much different from what makes a retiree stay a member as well. So what we found from the research is that program participants under the age of 30, so, you know, people who get involved, say, in RILA or, you know, or so forth, youth exchange, they do that because they want to serve others and also to learn about other cultures. Prospective members that are aged 30 to 39, so we're looking at those younger professionals, they ask about joining because they want to serve in their local and their global communities, as I mentioned before, and they're also interested in developing personally and professionally. Members over 50, they join and they stay in Rotary to connect with people outside of their work and their social groups, but also they want to give back and make a difference in their community as well. Another thing that we also discovered was that members who are age 60 or after they retire, and Rotary really is a way to stay, you know, to connect with people in the new communities as well. So why do people leave Rotary? So members from all age groups, including Rotarians and Rotaractors, they leave Rotary because of those three primary reasons that we, you know, sort of chatted about. First one would be club environment and culture. And actually, that has kind of pushed the needle a little bit this year in the survey. Whereas, you know, before, cost and time might have been, you know, the number one reason. Really, this year it's club environment and culture. And I mean, that could include a number of different things. It could include things like personality issues or cliques, or not feeling included, or clubs being inflexible. So of course we've got cost and time constraints, and then also too we've got unmet expectations. And so that could be, you know, unmet expectations in terms of making a difference, or friendship or networking. It also could be because of, you know, poor use of time and talents. We also know that former members return because they've found another club that offers flexibility and innovation, and makes them feel that they belong and can make a difference. So again, you know, it's something for us to really be thinking about whenever we're taking into account, you know, our membership strategies. Okay, so, you know, taking into account what we've known now about the trends and also about the research, what are some things that we can do to strengthen membership in our club and to help grow? One of the main things that we can do is provide a consistent and positive experience for both our current members and also our prospective members. We really need to be, you know, mindful about building a diverse and open and flexible environment so that we can respond to members' needs and expectations. So we need to really be leading in a way that's inspiring confidence and it's embracing new ideas. If we cultivate a welcoming club culture and we give members an experience worth sharing, we're not only going to help keep our current members, but we're also going to increase the likelihood of finding new members as well. And again, we can do this by, you know, making sure that we're, you know, making our meetings enjoyable, our projects and our events as well are meaningful. We can also do this by involving people in projects and programs that they're interested in. Because if they don't find a service project or a program that interests them at Rotary, they're going to look for it in another organisation that does offer them. And, you know, there's quite a lot of competition out there now in terms of volunteering opportunities. We also need to provide the opportunities to develop leadership skills and to grow as well. And that is really one of our strengths. So whether that be, you know, our members taking the lead in running a project, or it's, you know, getting involved in club administration, or it's, you know, taking on a club role, or perhaps, you know, delivering a speech at a club meeting. As we've seen, we also need to be particularly mindful of our new members, so that instead of them leaving in the first 1 to 3 years, they are committed to be lifelong members. I mean, of course, retention and engagement is important at any stage of the Rotary tenure, but we know that our new members are particularly vulnerable. The research shows that prospective members are more likely to join and they're more likely to stay when they're provided information early on, even before they actually join. So it's really important to talk openly and honestly with prospective members and also new members about the opportunities, the expectations, the costs of membership as well. So I think we really need to invest in nurturing that relationship. It's an ongoing, you know, relationship. It's not just, you know, we get them through the door, but to nurture that relationship. We also know that clubs that have a new member orientation program, they've got a higher member retention rates as well. So, you know, having a new member orientation program, it's not only a plan for engaging new members, but it's helping them to acclimatise to your club and also to Rotary as well. So, think about developing one if you don't have one, or, have a look at improving the one that you might have. Think about assigning mentors and clearly outlining, what's the relationship, what are the expectations on both sides, so that, both people can get the most out of the mentoring relationship. And get new members involved quickly in a project or an event that interests them. But also, make sure to provide the resources and the support that sets them up for success. There's no use really in, electing them as a club secretary as soon as they walk through the door with no training, or there's no one there to help them as well. The other thing that I encourage you to do is to consider flexibility. So again, the research shows us that clubs that have more freedom to determine how they hold their meetings, who they invite to membership, and what defines engagement, those clubs will provide more member satisfaction, and they're stronger, more vibrant. As we also saw from the survey results in our region, flexibility and innovation is particularly important for our members, for our prospective members. But really, it's up to you to decide how and if your club wants to take advantage of more flexible options. So that's what it is. It really is, flexibility is just really a tool in order for you to be providing a better member experience. It just really is a tool. And I think one of the unexpected benefits of COVID-19 really has that many clubs have really had to dip their toe in the flexibility water. And even though some may not have wanted to initially, they have been finding that the water's not so bad once they're in, and others have really warmed to it as well. So the types of flexibility that you could consider include, meeting frequency and times, different membership types. So it could be thinking about a corporate or a family membership, or even providing, subsidised membership at this point in time for people that have been affected financially by COVID. Could also be different formats for a meeting. It doesn't have to be a regular sit-down meeting with a meal and a speaker. It can be a service project, or a social. And I guess it all does really depend at this particular time about the restrictions that we have and what you can and you can't do. Also think about, relaxed attendance. A lot more clubs now are focusing on that service participation rather than, attendance. Or it could be starting a new type of club as well. It could be a satellite club, that's connected to your own club right now. Or it could be, thinking about creating a club for people that we haven't been able to cater to, previously. So it could be a cause-based club, could be a passport club. So it's just thinking a little bit outside of the box, being a bit more innovative, being a bit more flexible. So as I mentioned, it really is up to you to decide if flexibility is going to enhance the club experience. So really, to sum up, I think there are just 3 things that you can do, particularly at this time. And the first thing is really to take time to understand the membership data and the trends in your own club and also in the region. And you can check out trends and run reports out of my Rotary and Rotary Club Central. And I can also make the member and participant experience survey results available to you, so you can have a bit of a further read. Secondly, I think, really important is that we ask members what matters to them. So that's not only our current members, but also our prospective members as well. So find out about, what it is that they value, what they might be missing, and what they need to stay and to become a member, for life. And we also do need to make sure that we deliver on that as well. And lastly, I just encourage you to visit rotary.org/membership. There's a whole range of resources there to support you. It includes things like club assessments, guidelines for starting new clubs and membership types, as well as guides for developing a new member orientation program as well. If you need help with any of that, feel free to contact me, and I can point you in the right direction. So those are my contact details there. Like I said, I'd be happy to hear from you, and I'd love to hear your stories about what's happening in your club, whether it's challenges that you have or some great achievements that you have as well. So hopefully tonight I've given you an overview of membership from a global perspective. So having a look at the trends and the research, and then also giving you some ideas, hopefully, for strengthening membership in your club and also growing Rotary. So thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Barbara. I'll see if I can, I hope you can all hear me. I can't see, oh, here I am. Yes, look, I've got a few questions that have come up, and then we can open it up to other people who'd like to ask questions from the floor.
Mm-hmm.
One of the statistics that we don't really see correctly is the age of Rotarians. You get averages and suggestions, but the problem is that we never collect people's ages. Some tell us, some clubs do, but most clubs don't. It's not compulsory, and I think that's something that really RI should be asking for, because then we get a real picture, and I think it could well be a bit different from what we think. So is there any chance that might be going to happen, or is it something even that just Australia could do, so we'd have that sort of information?
Well, that's a great question, and Judy, and it's, yeah, you're so completely right. The basics of for us learning about our demographic, like age, like that's just such a basic demographic for us to know. We don't know, you're right. We've got such a percentage of people that go unreported, and we're just assuming, making assumptions about, the ages of our Rotarians. So Rotary does recognise the importance of that, and a good thing that you might, good thing to know is that since the upgrade of My Rotary, it's now mandatory to put in a year of birth. So rather than the age, like the date of birth, because some people had concerns about giving that kind of detail, though, again, I want to assure, everybody that Rotary International is very strict in terms of the data and data, privacy as well. So now, though, in My Rotary, if you're going to enter in a new member, you do need to put in the date, the year of birth, and also the gender, and also you'll need to put in other details like an email address as well. And that's just really to help us to start to collect that information. I'd also encourage you, if within the clubs and within district as well, to encourage your members to, for them to, they can self-report it in My Rotary in their profile, or they can give it to a club officer. Normally the club officer should be able to upload it in My Rotary, but at the moment, since the upgrade, I mean, there's been a couple of problems with the upgrade. You currently can't do it, but that's on the list to be fixed. So yeah.
Oh, that's good news that we're getting there, and I think probably the year is enough, but that would certainly make a big difference. Now, talking about costs, we didn't really sort of see any of the statistics on costs and how much they've gone up over the years, and it'd be interesting to see if there's a comparison, like especially in say Australia, if numbers are dropping off as the costs go up. And part of the problem, of course, is that we talk in American dollars. So if our dollar's down, it makes a big difference to when it was almost the same as the American dollar. Is there any research in that at all?
There actually is. I think there's a separate survey that goes out to, again, random sample. I don't know if it's that big, as in, getting 12,000 responses back. But I do know that we have done surveys about costs as well. And so we do have a bit of a breakdown about, regions, about, how much it costs. But I think the thing to think about is that it's not only just about our RI dues. You do have to think about district dues and also club dues as well. And there are some things that we can that we can think about, like, for example, if it's the cost of a meal. I mean, that's not something that's mandated by RI. So it would be up to the club also to think about, do we want to be offering perhaps another option for people who can't afford it, or I guess also too, that's one of the things that people have been noticing with using Zoom, in that you don't have to travel every week or every fortnight and have a sit down meal. So there are some cost savings in just the way that the club structures itself as well. But I can make that information about the average costs across the world available. Yeah, that's fine. I'll send that.
I wonder, sorry, that noise is my dog with a pig. Sorry about that. It wasn't me making that funny noise. One of the things that'll be interesting to see whether, with COVID, of course, a lot of travelling of all the RI officials has not taken place. Are we going to get a discount, I wonder, all the money that they've saved? I don't think so, but nice, wouldn't it?
Sorry, can I just interrupt? Yeah. Sorry. I guess the other thing that I just wanted to say in terms of costs, I guess we also have to look at it as in, value. Are people getting value for money? Because, for example, I'm going to spend, $1,000 on an iPhone because I think it has value. I might, spend a couple $100 on a gym membership, and because I think at the time that I joined, this is a great thing to do. And then when I go there, I'm like, it's doesn't meet my needs. Then I'm going to cancel, my gym membership. Okay. So I think we kind of have to also look at it in terms of value, but not to, dismiss the fact that there are some people, especially around in this, this time with COVID, some people are financially stressed as well. So, I guess that's also something that we need to think about at a club level. If you do have an ability to, subsidise a membership to a certain degree, just to help, get some people through, it could be something that you can consider. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, that's really good. One person, I'm just seeing if I can find, I did write it down, but I'll just see if I can find the question. Had it now, I've lost it. Oh yes, here it is. This is from Judy McKee, and she's asking, why is it we do not relook at classification that seem to provide a more balanced club bringing a mix of skill to the membership?
I think classification is really the important thing. I mean, it's the basis of what Rotary has been built on, and I feel like that sometimes we think that classification itself has been forgotten about, but really I think it's part of the diversity mix. When we're thinking about being more diverse, I think classification is also, part of that as well. So we should be thinking about, who's missing from our club. And that's why I really liked Mark Maloney last year. President Mark Maloney said, rather than thinking about who do we know in order to bring into Rotary, who are we missing? And so, classification is definitely, part of that picture.
All right, good, thank you. Now, Mick Cooper says, has Rotary developed online training which may attract younger members, things like leadership, management coaching, not aimed at Rotary growth, but to develop members?
Yep, great question too, Mick. And I just wanted to say that is definitely something that I think RI is investing more in, is the recognising that the personal growth and you know, the professional development is very important to people, and they have been investing in online courses as well. So there are, you know, things like there's a mentoring course in there, which is, you know, it's not just to apply in a Rotary setting. It's also, you know, it's great for, you know, professional development. We've also just put on the Learning Centre some courses that we have developed with our partnership with Toastmasters. So again, that's about leadership and also about skills development in terms of public speaking. So it's definitely something that we'll be seeing more and more of. Yeah. So focusing on, yeah, personal growth and professional development, particularly online. Yeah.
Fabulous. That's great. Now, this is a question that I want to know myself. If you're starting a new club, I don't even know if you can answer this, but I'll give you a go. Here we go. So
You tell me already.
say you've got a group of people that know about Rotary, they're not Rotarians, they want to start a new club. So they get together and they say, let's start by having a barbecue down at the local market, and we'll collect money towards Rotary and start trying to get some new members. What happens with them as far as insurance is concerned? Because if none of them are Rotarians, are they insured as they're trying to build? Because they would have to have let RI know that they're doing this, I presume.
Again, I'm not an insurance expert, but from what I've heard, if it is something like that, it would come under the same way that if you had volunteers that were not necessarily Rotarians that were helping out to do things, then it should be covered under insurance. But I would definitely check it out with your district insurance officer, because they would be more on the ball, and you probably would need to tell them as well that that's what's happening. Yeah.
So if you are starting a new club, one of the things you need to do is let RI know, because if you're doing something that's not actually connected to another Rotary group, like a satellite club, but you're doing something totally on your own, say a passport club, you would still need to let RI know, so then you can be covered by their insurance.
Well, I think from insurance, you probably need to discuss it more with district. But I think if you are starting anything, any new club, I think the best bet would be to talk to RI first, and we can help you in getting started as well. So we can point you in the direction of what are some of the things that you need to do, what are some of the forms that you need to fill in and so forth. So we can give you some ideas about strategy, but also what are the mechanics of starting a new club as well.
All right, well look, we've had enough questions. I might pass over now to Mary, who will do a bit of a summary, and we're just coming up to 25 past, so we've done very well. So thank you very much, Barbara. And over to you, Mary. Mary.
Thanks, Judy. Thanks, Barbara. I said at the very beginning that we get amazing speakers on this series, and of course, Barbara, you're another one, and you are a mine of information. Your statistics, your facts, your figures, your research is absolutely mind-blowing. And as you mentioned, it really is important that we base our decisions most on data. So thank you so much, Barbara, for being our guest tonight. It's been really, really wonderful. And some great questions coming through, but also people are making comment about different ways of not spending a lot of money, which I know is an issue in many, many clubs. One of the questions also came through was, will there be a recording of this? And these are always recorded, and our webmaster and our IT guru, who's always in the background, manages to store these in a particular spot. So in our District 9705 website area. So he's actually able to do that for us. So yes, this will be recorded and has been recorded. A couple of words that I'd just like to finish with. One was flexibility. I think that's the word of the day, really. There's a lot of people worrying about what we're doing in Rotary, what can't we do, what can we do, how to attract new members. Flexibility was that word. I also like what Mark Maloney said in terms of diversity. Who are we missing? Not who do we want, but who are we missing? And I think that's a really, really great way of looking at it, Barbara. Thank you for that. I'm really going to take that one on board. Who are we missing? And also the aspects of training. There's so much training that we can get involved in Rotary. And so you certainly exemplified the different ways that we can get involved in training. So thank you for that. Now I need to let everybody know in the next minute or so that the last two of these series for the year will be, one will be in November. So the 10th of November will be the next series, our membership series. And this guest, a bit like tonight, not to be mixed, not to be missed. His name is Mark Huddleston, and he knows a huge amount of stuff. He's a great speaker. We all need to listen to Mark. So November the 10th and December the 10th, we'll have Evan Burrell. Now, probably a number of you know him as the superhero of Rotary. He wears a superhero suit. He is amazing. He is just so passionate about Rotary, and he knows so much stuff about Rotary and different ways of getting people involved. So our time is almost up. I'd like to thank Judy once again as my co-chair of this particular series, and also to Paul Murray in the background. He gets all this happening and he's just wonderful to work with. And finally, Barbara, a final thanks to you. So hopefully we'll see lots more of you, and it's great to see people from Perth. Great to see you, Caro, and people from all over Australia. It really is a great series. So thanks everybody for making it so. Good night. Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.